1994, where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you a super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the and that's why, if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time, because they saw what you did. You call them super predators, and you've called them worse than that, because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals, total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio, I have Portland. The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement, because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying those words, Joe? Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day, and they put up their hands, and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top 40 cities are run by Democrats and, in many cases, radical left. And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right. I want to.
So this is the one valid point Donald Trump had all night. It's the 1994 crime bill. It is terrible. It is a terrible bill. It was a terrible decision by Joe Biden. It was also a terrible decision by Joe Biden to back the Iraq War. One of the many things I don't like about the man. But to say that he has treated black people worse than anybody or whatever, any president, blah, 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 blah. There were presidents that owned slaves. There was Richard Nixon with the freaking war on drugs. So there was separate but equal. And Donald Trump acts like his approval amongst the black community is high and he's doing great. That's a lie. It's always a lie. That's why he had to get Kanye West on certain ballots to try and siphon the black vote, because he cannot get it. He's relying on them actually not turning out, hating Joe Biden so much that they're not going to turn out and vote, because he knows they're not going to vote for him. So the best he can hope for is that they either vote for Kanye West or they don't vote for him. He is not done. He's done things to hurt the black community, calling Black Lives Matter a terrorist group, saying the decision in Breonna Taylor's thing was just. That was not just. They didn't even, according to the grand jury, they didn't even get all the evidence. It was beyond not just. He actively retweets white nationalists on this very stage. He refused to condemn the Proud Boys, a white terrorist group, on this very stage. There's another video I made on it, so go watch that. But for him to act like Joe Biden is out to get black people, do I trust Joe Biden? No. Do I think he's probably a tiny bit racist? Yeah, unfortunately, I do think he's a tiny bit racist, but I think that he's not going to sick the police on black people. I do not think he's going to attack protesters. I do not think he's going to take away freedom of speech. I do not think he's going to harm the black community. I think a lot of his views have changed, and while I am not satisfied with all of it, he's still a better choice than Donald Trump. Breathe. So, then he talks about the fact that some of his generals and upper echelon were incompetent and had to be fired. He has the highest turnover rate of staff in his office. Literally, there are jokes about it. There are jokes. So here's my thing. Either he hires the most incompetent people and he's too stupid to understand that they're incompetent, or he's too stupid to understand that they are competent and he just wants yes men around him and he cannot stand anyone that says anything against him. Oh, wait, it's definitely that one. So...